Hey there. So you want to know how I approach this activity, and I thought I'd show you. I should point out that our board is using an octomestered approach, which means that the students are in one course all day, and this activity makes up about 70 minutes of the day, and it's paired with an activity where we're looking at or an evaluation that's looking at primary sources. So they've looked at a bunch of primary sources from different cultures over the last week, and this activity contains a few that they can add to their thinking. So first, we watch this reenactment of a traditional tea ceremony, and I keep it sort of open-ended, just focusing on observation and inferences uh, based on what they see in this video. One of the defining elements of this period was the incredible focus on fashion, the multiple layers of kimonos, and also this was a time where women wore their hair down, those sorts of things. But also just identifying that the fact that that women are so prominent at this ceremony, this 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 poetry ceremony, right? And then there's a little section where we kind of bring those ideas together. We take a quick look at the role of women, uh, at least in the upper classes, that those from the higher classes could own property and remarry and divorce, and had a fair amount of freedom comparatively. One thing that we really do focus on is the fact that because Chinese was the official language of the court, Japanese creativity in Japanese was kind of left to women, and so women became focused on calligraphy and poetry and satire and all sorts of amazing things. So the next bit we look at, we have a quick overview of two key writers, and then we focus on two pieces of writing. This one is absolutely beautiful. It is one of my favorite things I've read in a long time, but it has this incredible turn at the end that just changes the tone. So it's almost, we look at this from like a literary perspective, considering the art of it, I suppose. And then for the next bit, we take a look at a work of nonfiction by the same author describing the behavior of men at court and what they expect, and so and women. My apologies, and women as well. And so we read this through a feminist lens and looking at what it says about roles and obligations and freedoms and all that stuff. Then we talk briefly about a change through the samurai. We focus on the fact that samurai were associated with the country, and when they became, I guess, almost like the focal point of power, there was a real shift to, I guess, what we call country rural conservative values, and so the values of the court were diminished, and so women had a far less prominent role because of that. We take a quick look then at the the invasion of the Mongols and as a Pyrrhic victory. That it put a lot of pressure on Japan, and even though the Japanese were successful due to innovations like the katana and what that could mean in close combat. And then this is great. When we're in person, I actually have students try and mimic the swing and think about how that swing would be different than the way, say, a knight in Europe might swing a weapon. We try and bring it all together by noting that because this victory is so costly to Japan and they need to support the samurai, this is where property rights are rewritten, property laws, excuse me, are rewritten so that samurai now can inherit that land as opposed to women. And so by the end of this, now women are no longer cultural voices in the same way they were before, and they also lose property they would have inherited that would have given them that sort of influence in the first place. And so we end by taking a quick look at the city of Tokyo, where Tokyo is now. And we talk briefly about the notion of this being a decline or fall. And usually at this point, I have students conduct a quick investigation based on whatever aspect of the civilization or this period, interests them. So if they want to focus on the fashion, there's some great sources online that students could use. If they're more interested in the writing, there's lots of great work by both of these incredible writers available for free online. Or if they're more interested in the combat, there's certainly lots of documentaries and sources about the Mongol invasion and the rise of the samurai. So that's a quick overview of what we do. If you have any questions or you want to access any of these sources, let me know and I'll send you some links.